has higher grades than they've ever had. This senior class is going to have more opportunities and has already had more opportunities than ever.
Yes, of course, senior year will be challenging, but remember, you have woes, you have each other, you have friends. When you are stuck, have a question, something is wrong with financial aid, please contact us. Don't make us have to hunt you down.
A couple updates. So first thing that's coming up is September 15th for everybody. September 15th is when we will need a list of, and we'll give you guys a to-do list with everything organized, so you know we'll review this in writing as well. So the 15th is when we'll need you to identify 3 teachers, mentors, 3 people who can write recommendation letters for you, and we can help. We'll send you guys some more information on that. So just think about that. You can circle it. September 15th is your first due date. So just start kind of getting the wheels going. Who can you ask? What are some teachers you've had really large success with? And then I have on here, and we'll talk about this. So there's going to be a weekly requirement of hours that you'll be coming into ATTOLLO headquarters to work one-on-one or in a small group, whatever it happens that week with one of us. So 5 hours a week. We're going to set up office hours, which will be in the evenings. If you can't make them for some reason, just reach out. We'll find a time to make it work. We'll come to you. We'll figure it out. We think it's really important to dedicate a specific amount of time, which is 5 hours per week, in order to stay on schedule with all of this college goodness. So, does anybody have any questions about that? Awesome. So we'll let you guys know. Right now it says Mondays and Tuesdays 5 to 7. I called it weekly senior huddle. We'll also be offering Wednesdays and Thursdays, and we're going to push it from 6 to 8, just in case some of you have sports and jobs and whatever else after school. If you can come right after school, great. We'll figure out a way. We'll just kind of plan it. But ideally, I want you guys to think about, to look at your schedule and to kind of carve out those 5 hours a week and to start thinking about that. So the only day in September, again, 5 hours a week during office hours, and we'll send you guys some more stuff on that. But the first thing is the 15th, so just identifying those recommendations. Sunday, October 1st, is the due date for the last SAT. Whether you're Pressbridge or not, I would encourage you to take the next SAT, ACTs if you can. And then the last possible score that you can use is going to be October 1. So that's one important date. Wednesday, October 4th, we're doing a FAFSA night here. So this is where parents are encouraged to please come. Even if you just want to come, just the parents, that's fine. We'll send out some information. We're going to have somebody who specializes in FAFSA application in the office to walk through, and we're actually trying to get a bunch of people to come so that you guys could actually do it here during that time frame. We're going to have FAFSA due by the 11th of October, and we know that's pretty soon, but the goal with that is that the sooner you apply, it's kind of like a first come, first serve. So the sooner you apply, the more financial aid you have access to. So if you get your pay, I think it opens on the 1st. So we have the seminar, the workshop on the 4th, and then we want them finished by the 11th. So
what questions do we have around FAFSA? First of all, raise your hand if you don't know what FAFSA is. And I guarantee not everybody knows it, so please raise your hand. Be courageous. Thank you. And who else? Raise your hand. So FAFSA is essentially the financial element of your college application. And so you fill out your family information, and you submit it, and there's, as Maylee's mentioned, there's a huge pool of money that both colleges have, but also that some other organizations have set aside for students like yourself going to college. And you can get scholarships for everything. For having blue eyes, there's a blue eyes scholarship. There's if you're above a certain height as in males and females, it's everything. But all you have to do is fill out this application, and then we send it a million different places. So it's very important that we tackle this as soon as possible. And it's very straightforward. It's not challenging whatsoever. Last year we did it all on that night. Parents came, students came, and in an hour and a half, everybody had submitted all of their FAFSA information, and we're done with that part of the application.
Yep, so that's due on the 11th of October, so you can circle that date. The October 20th, you'll see completion of college essays due. So we're going to make sure that we're on the schedule individually and together to complete all of our essays that are due on the 20th of October. And that's it for October. So let's keep going. November. November 1st is the date where you will have completed 6 applications, which is pretty awesome. So we'll work through identifying schools you want to go to, target schools, reach schools, dream schools, and work on applications, and we'll have them all done by November 1st. So that one's a good one to circle. And then, let's see. So that's it for November. And then December, so that's kind of like the last hurrah, like in terms of the college application process. You will have your FAFSA done. You'll have applied to 6 colleges minimum. That's our goal for you, to apply to at least 6 schools. You'll have, all your essays, like everything will be done by then. Things that that we will still be working on together. Scholarship applications, big one. So we have a goal for you guys to individually apply to over $200,000 in scholarships. So that's going to be like a fun little challenge that we'll be doing this fall, is getting you guys to identify scholarships and to at least apply to 200. That'll be your goal, your individual, it's $200,000. So we'll still be working on that. What are some other things that we'll be working on during, because you'll see we still, up until December 17th, and then afterwards we'll be doing some other stuff in the spring as well. But up until the 17th, where we're going to have like a little powwow in here and just celebrate that we've applied to college and financial aid is in. We're ready to go. Now we're just waiting for responses.
Yeah, and so you guys know who you are and where you're at on that. Some of you, the only thing that's lacking in your college application is your SAT isn't quite where we need. Okay, so we're deep on SAT. Simultaneously, through the month of September, we're hyper-focused on college essays. So some of you are really far along with your college essay. That's amazing. You have to do 1 or 2 more. Some of you aren't that far. Okay, so now's the time to really get those college essays completed. And very transparently, for people of color, your college essay is the most important part of your college application. Your SAT and your GPA, they are kind of where they're at by now. But your college essay, to be able to articulate who you are as a person, your dreams, your visions, how ultimately you are going to improve the world that we live in, is all articulated through your college essay. That's why the month of September is so important to us. Now we've got that completed. Now it becomes the financial aid element, which is going to really happen in one night, so that's pretty quick. The next part of this becomes the college applications. So we're going to take the month of October to really dive in and get everything really fine-tuned, so that on November 1st, and November 1st is such a huge day for all of us, and that is what day? Who knows what is November 1st across every school in this country? Early action or early decision applications. And what's the significance of early action or early decision applications? Somebody else?
It's commitment to the one school of your choice that you want to try and get to the most.
Correct. So the part of that is that you are essentially committing. And of course, if something crazy happens, or if you it went from being the school that you had to go to for some reason you don't want to go to it, there are other ways to get out of it. But what happens on November 1st, when you submit your application on that day, what you are saying is that this school is very serious to me, and what the school then says is, if there's any weak parts of your application, we might overlook them because you've demonstrated you really want to be here. Does that make sense? So you have your highest chance to get into any school by applying early action, early decision on November 1st. That is your best chance. Okay?
At least 6 applications in by November 1st.
What's important for us is that we have the time to advocate on your behalf. Okay? And always say, those who sweat during peace don't bleed during war. You guys okay? Those who sweat during peace don't bleed during war. All of these deadlines are moved up. So your friends, if your friends are doing these things, you should be setting the tone. It's okay if you're ahead of the game, right? That's the first thing. But what moving all of these boxes that we need to check off does for us is it allows us to advocate on your behalf. We were at Stanford this summer. We had an opportunity to sit down with the coach. And so it's a one-on-one. And what happens on Saturday, the coach calls me and says, hey, Jordan, we want to offer and bring Taraji back out to Stanford this fall, right? And these are things that we will do for every single one of you. But the reason, quite frankly, why some of these things are happening for some people, and you say, well, why not me? These people are putting the time in here. And this is conditional to an extent. The more time you're here, just based on proximity, we're going to be thinking about you more. And so sometimes it's literally a college calls me and says, hey, do you have any students who fit this criteria that you think very highly of? And oh, by the way, if you just walked out of my office, there's a better chance that I'm going to think, oh yes, that student would be a good fit. So that's why us being around each other is very, very important, especially this fall. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think to follow up on that, just something we talked about communication in general. Just, if your cell phone's not working, or if your email's not working, or whatever it might be. I know there are a million ways to contact each other nowadays, so I'm trying to figure out what works for you guys so that we can make sure you all get the message. The communication, if you can't come to something or something comes up, just let us know. The more communication, the better, because again, then we can say, oh, you know what, like Taraji's not coming in this week because he's got all this stuff, or whatever, but what can we do to keep the wheels going? Momentum, somebody talked about momentum, keeping the momentum going. This is the first kind of like, momentum's going, let's keep it going throughout. It's kind of like, we're gonna jog through until November 1st and until all the applications are in. So just communicate. If you've got work, you've got other commitments, we totally understand. If you need something, Leo expressed it. We want to be your advisors. Like, we want to get you guys into the schools you want to get into, and we want to do whatever we can. So just let us know. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. We are here for you guys, and that's our focus. So text, call, emails, I don't know, Snapchat, whatever else there is out there, Instagram. Some of us, whatever it is, we're here for you. So the door is always open.
And then, so the last thing we'll say, and we'll jump into this activity. Actually, why don't we start? Are we going to pass these out? The last thing, and I know some parents are here, which is amazing. Most of you, I know we said parents didn't have to be here. We're going to have another meeting in about a month or so that we want all parents at, for sure. But one thing that is very, very important, you guys are all seniors in high school now, and we all have so much happening in our lives, and we're so busy, and the biggest problem that we have is the one that's right in front of us, and we recognize that. Your parents have been with you guys on this journey for a very, very long time, and it's essential that right now, towards the end, you continue to bring them along this journey with you, right? So the communication is important. When you get something good happens to you, celebrate it with them, right? And there are other people in your lives as well who that will probably be applicable to. But now, more than ever, you need to make sure that your power circle, your parents, your siblings, etc., that all of us are on the same page and we're all working through this thing together.